Rotero 2 to 7 Psychological traps Sun Tzu used to destroy his enemies. Most people think winning is about power, visible dominance, louder voices, sharper words. But Sun Tzu understood something far more subtle. The greatest victories are the ones your opponent doesn't even realize they've lost. To outsmart someone without them knowing is not about deception alone. It's about control over perception. It's the art of shaping reality before the other person even recognizes a battle exists. In life, every conversation, negotiation, and relationship is a silent war of intentions. Two sides move not with weapons, but with emotions, words, and assumptions. The untrained mind reacts. The strategic mind anticipates. While most people are busy defending their egos, the wise are reading patterns, timing responses, and planting invisible seeds that will grow into inevitable outcomes. Sun Tzu called this the supreme art of war, to subdue the enemy without fighting. And in modern life, that means mastering the invisible dimensions of control: silence, observation, and psychological leverage. When you try to win by force, you reveal yourself. But when you guide someone into defeating themselves, you become untouchable. The battlefield moves from the external world into the invisible realm of influence, where appearances deceive and stillness is a weapon. The first hidden tactic: control perception. People don't react to reality. They react to the version of reality they perceive. If you can subtly guide what they perceive, you control their decisions without a single word of command. Sun Tzu said, "Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak." The point wasn't manipulation for its own sake. It was strategic camouflage. A mind that shows its strength too early invites competition. A mind that hides its strength controls the pace of the game. Imagine entering a meeting where everyone is eager to prove intelligence. The loudest person usually dominates early, but also reveals their emotional center, their pride, their insecurity, their hunger for recognition. You, however, stay silent, eyes calm, words minimal. You let others speak themselves into weakness. The loud ones think they're winning the room, but in truth, they've exposed their patterns, their desires, their fears. When you finally speak, every word lands with disproportionate weight because you've already mapped the battlefield inside their minds. Sun Tzu taught, "He who knows when to fight and when not to fight will win." The meaning is simple. Not every moment deserves your reaction. Emotional control is tactical superiority. When someone provokes you, they are trying to shift the balance of power. If you react impulsively, you enter their frame. But if you remain centered, detached, and analytical, you force them to drown in their own emotion. They expect a clash. Instead, they find silence. That silence makes them doubt. Doubt leads to hesitation, and hesitation is the seed of defeat. The second hidden tactic: create illusions of choice. Control does not require force, it requires direction. The most skilled strategist lets others believe they are choosing freely while every option leads to the same result. Sun Tzu would advise leaders to create paths that all led to the desired outcome, making resistance irrelevant. In daily life, this means mastering framing. When negotiating, never present your will as a demand. Present it as a natural conclusion. Would you prefer we start with Plan A or Plan B? Both are your plans, but the other person feels empowered to choose. When confronting disagreement, instead of saying "you're wrong," guide them with questions that lead them to realize your perspective on their own. The mind resists external pressure, but embraces what it believes it discovered independently. Psychological power is not domination, it's orchestration. You conduct emotions, rhythms, and expectations. You let people walk exactly where you want them to, willingly. The third hidden tactic: study the unspoken. In the art of war, Sun Tzu emphasized that victory depends on knowing the enemy and knowing yourself. Most people interpret this as intelligence gathering, but it's deeper. To know someone is to read the invisible, Tone, timing, hesitation, silence, microreactions. Words are often lies. Pauses rarely are. Before making a move, observe patterns. What triggers someone emotionally? What makes them defensive? What makes their eyes narrow? When you identify what they protect, you found their weakness, not to exploit cruelly, but to understand where control resides. Every person is governed by something: pride, fear, approval, guilt. The one who identifies these forces governs the dynamic. Sun Tzu believed that power is fluid, that the skilled warrior adapts like water, taking the shape of the situation. You must become unreadable, unpredictable. The predictable man is always defeated first because he fights the same way, argues the same way, reacts the same way. But the one who changes shape cannot be targeted. They are everywhere and nowhere. This is the essence of invisible dominance: to move through the world as if unseen, to bend outcomes without resistance, to remain still while everything moves around you according to your design. Sun Tzu's philosophy was not born on battlefields alone. It was born from watching human nature. Every empire, every kingdom, every broken friendship falls for the same reason. People mistake movement for progress, volume for strength, and confidence for control. But true mastery is quiet. True strength flows without recognition. The best strategist doesn't need applause. They only need alignment between thought and timing. Another hidden tactic: turn reaction into strategy. Every confrontation reveals two energies: the one who acts and the one who responds. Most people live in reaction, forever responding to life instead of shaping it. Sun Tzu's wisdom was to reverse that order. Control begins when you make others react to you. A subtle shift in posture, a deliberate pause before answering, even silence. These become tools of dominance when used with purpose. A well-timed pause can make others reveal what they wanted to hide. A delayed response can create uncertainty. People fear the unknown. Therefore, the one who controls the unknown controls the interaction. Think of every conflict as an echo chamber. The louder the emotion, the less strategic the mind. So remain still while the world panics. Watch patterns emerge. Once you understand that humans are predictable under pressure, you stop fearing confrontation. You stop needing to prove anything. You learn to move pieces quietly, letting others destroy their own stability while believing it was their idea all along. Sun Tzu called this the acme of skill. The highest victory is not seen because no one recognizes it as a battle. You smile, you listen, you nod, and by the time they feel secure, they've already walked exactly where you needed them to. The invisible strategist doesn't seek conflict. He designs outcomes. He doesn't expose strength. He allows weakness to reveal itself. He doesn't chase recognition because recognition is noise, and noise clouds judgment. Every day offers a battlefield disguised as conversation, decision, or temptation. Each is a test of presence and timing. You win not by overpowering, but by guiding attention, by mastering the psychology of subtle influence. The one who controls perception, illusion, observation, and reaction does not simply win battles, they shape the world around them. And that is how Sun Tzu's hidden tactics still rule every human interaction today. When you start observing people through the lens of strategy, you stop seeing random behavior. Every gesture, every argument, every attempt at persuasion becomes a signal, a clue revealing how their inner world operates. What once looked chaotic now looks mathematical. You realize that most people are prisoners of their own impulses, and that whoever understands emotion rules over those who are controlled by it. Sun Tzu's genius wasn't in warfare alone. It was in understanding the human condition. He studied fear, ego, greed, and pride, not to destroy men but to predict them. In truth, his greatest battlefield was the mind itself. He knew that before any army collapses, its will collapses first. Before any person loses, they lose control over their perception. So to defeat someone without them knowing, you must strike not their body, but their certainty. The first step is to understand desire. Everyone wants something: approval, security, recognition, dominance, love. The strategist never mocks these needs. He studies them. He listens carefully, because every desire leaves a trail. The insecure man constantly justifies himself. The prideful woman speaks of others' failures. The ambitious one measures every interaction as a transaction. And the wise strategist knows, once you identify what a person must protect, you no longer need to fight them, you can simply guide them. Sun Tzu wrote, "When you surround an army, leave an outlet free." The idea was not mercy, it was manipulation. If you remove all exits, your opponent fights with desperation. But when you give them a path of escape, you can direct their movement, even lead them to their own end. In human terms, it means never cornering someone emotionally. Let them believe they have agency, that they can retreat or change course. In doing so, you become the quiet architect of their decisions. Psychological warfare doesn't look like war at all. It looks like patience, silence, and an almost spiritual calm. The strategist is never hurried. He lets time dissolve resistance. He observes while others burn their energy proving points, reacting emotionally, defending illusions. The world becomes a stage of self-revealing players, each one too busy performing to see who's truly directing the scene. The next principle: master the emotional climate. Sun Tzu said, "If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him." He didn't mean cruelty. He meant control. Every strong emotion blinds the mind. Anger narrows perception. Fear paralyzes choice. Pride deafens the ears. So the one who controls the emotional atmosphere controls the result. When you want to neutralize someone, don't attack their argument. Attack their balance. Stay composed when they expect rage. Be kind when they expect competition. Show indifference when they seek attention. The contrast destabilizes them. They begin to question themselves. And while they try to read your motives, they expose theirs. It's easy to dominate people who can't manage their state of mind. Most will reveal everything you need to know within minutes, if you remain silent long enough. Silence is not emptiness. It's psychological pressure. People rush to fill it with truth. Sun Tzu taught that in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Emotional chaos is where control is born. When others lose composure, patterns appear, predictable, repetitive, easy to steer. But to exploit chaos, you must first be immune to it. That's the essence of emotional detachment. Not coldness, but stability. To see things as they are, not as your feelings wish them to be. When you're detached, you can study an insult like a scientist studying weather, noting its patterns without being touched by its heat. You learn to recognize manipulation attempts instantly, because you see what drives them. The flatterer seeks validation. The aggressor seeks dominance. The victim seeks sympathy. All are forms of control. But when you see through them, their power dissolves. To outsmart anyone without them knowing, you must first stop trying to prove your own intelligence. The need to be seen as smart is the very weakness the strategic mind avoids. Sun Tzu wrote, "Pretend inferiority and encourage his arrogance. Let others underestimate you. Their ego will build the trap for you. They'll reveal their plans in full, confident that you're no threat, until the moment their overconfidence collapses under its own weight." One of Sun Tzu's lesser-known ideas was Shi, the concept of potential energy, of invisible advantage. It means creating conditions where victory becomes effortless, where the momentum of the situation carries you forward without direct confrontation. In conversation, this looks like positioning. You don't argue for dominance, you set the frame. The frame defines how everything else is perceived. For instance, if you start a conversation with calm certainty, never chasing agreement, you silently establish yourself as the authority. The other person may talk more, but subconsciously they'll adapt to your rhythm. You've created Shi, invisible gravity. Every strategist learns. Control doesn't always look like control. It often looks like yielding. You bend so the opponent pushes too far and loses balance. You agree subtly, then redirect. You mirror their energy until they lower their guard, then lead the interaction where you wanted it all along. The weak appear strong, the strong appear weak, and the game continues without violence. Sun Tzu's tactics always return to one central law: those who master themselves master others. You cannot manipulate the world if you are a slave to your impulses. You cannot read others if your mind is full of noise. You cannot appear mysterious if you are desperate to be understood. The strategist wins internally before he wins externally. His greatest battle is against impatience, pride, and fear. In today's world, that might mean resisting the urge to reply instantly to provocation. It might mean staying composed when your name is attacked, when your work is doubted, when your silence is misinterpreted. People driven by emotion destroy their own credibility. People driven by focus create invisible momentum. Sun Tzu knew that perception was the first terrain of war. If you appear unbothered, people project power onto you. If you seem calm amid chaos, they assume you know something they don't. Appearances become psychological weapons, not because they lie, but because they redirect others' energy toward your advantage. This leads to the next hidden tactic: the power of indirect influence. When you push people, they resist. When you guide gently, they follow. The strategist rarely demands, he frames. He rarely corrects, he questions. He rarely imposes, he implies. A subtle suggestion, repeated across time, can reshape someone's thoughts more effectively than any argument. For example, instead of saying, "You should do this," say, "It might be interesting if we tried this." Instead of confronting someone's ego directly, plant an idea that lets them think it was theirs. You win not through confrontation, but through creation, creating belief, curiosity, and momentum in others' minds. This is invisible leadership, the kind that moves hearts while leaving no fingerprints. To live strategically is to live in rhythm with human nature. You begin to see that people are not rational, they are narrative-driven. They believe stories about themselves, and those stories shape their choices. The skilled strategist doesn't argue with the story, he enters it, then rewrites it from within. In a world obsessed with being right, Sun Tzu reminds us that being effective is far greater. The winner doesn't need to announce victory. They simply reach the result while others are still talking about the rules. To apply this, start observing the silent battles around you. At work, in relationships, in society. Notice how those who react least often control the most. Notice how those who ask instead of argue get more compliance. Notice how those who appear modest often move pieces unseen. The path of Sun Tzu is not about deceit for selfish gain. It's about learning how human energy moves, how to align your mind with timing, how to dissolve unnecessary conflict, how to achieve outcomes without aggression. Because the true strategist doesn't destroy, he directs. He shapes events as a sculptor shapes stone, removing only what's unnecessary until truth stands revealed. And that is why Sun Tzu's wisdom still governs the invisible wars of modern life. The boardrooms, relationships, negotiations, and internal dialogues. All are arenas of energy, perception, and timing. The person who learns to move within these unseen dimensions doesn't just win. They transcend the need for visible victory. They know something most never will, that every action carries consequence, and that silence, used wisely, is the loudest sound in the world. To outsmart anyone without them knowing is not about deception. It's about presence. It's about understanding people so deeply that they expose themselves willingly. It's about learning to stay calm while the world trembles, to lead without appearing to lead, to influence without needing recognition. Sun Tzu wrote that the wise general wins first, then goes to war. The foolish one goes to war first, then seeks to win. In life, this means preparing your mind, your strategy, your perception, so that when challenges appear, you've already won internally. You've already designed the outcome. So while others chase attention, chase emotion, chase noise, stay still. Watch, learn, move only when the timing is ripe. Speak only when silence has built tension. Strike only when the enemy has already defeated themselves. That's how you live by Sun Tzu's hidden law, the law of invisible power. It's not about crushing others. It's about never being crushed. It's about using every human tendency, ego, greed, fear, pride, not as weapons, but as mirrors reflecting the truth of how the world really works. The invisible strategist walks through life with calm certainty. His victories are quiet, his influence untraceable. People call him lucky, gifted, charismatic. But he knows the truth. It was never luck. It was discipline, observation, and mastery of self. And the greatest secret of all, the final paradox, is this: when you no longer care to outsmart anyone, you naturally do. Because detachment from the need to prove gives you ultimate control. You see the game, but you are not in it. You move within the noise, but the noise cannot move you. You guide others effortlessly, not from superiority, but from understanding. This is the unseen empire Sun Tzu envisioned, not of nations, but of minds. An empire of awareness. And those who reach that state no longer fight for power. They become power itself. By the time a strategist reaches mastery, the game changes shape. It's no longer about winning or losing, because those are the concerns of the untrained mind. The strategist's real focus becomes balance, creating alignment between will and outcome, emotion and timing. In that state, control stops being effortful. It becomes instinct. Sun Tzu once said, "The greatest victory is that which requires no battle." This wasn't just poetic, it was literal. The supreme strategist sees conflict before it manifests, like a faint vibration beneath the surface of the earth. He understands that every confrontation, no matter how small, begins as imbalance. Someone wants too much. Someone fears too deeply. Someone cannot accept what is. The strategist observes these roots before they grow into chaos. To outsmart others without them knowing, you must understand one truth. The mind is the original battlefield. Every word, every tone, every glance either strengthens your position or reveals your weakness. People think manipulation happens through tricks, lies, or deceit. But the highest manipulation is reality itself. The way you define the world silently conditions how others move within it. A strategist designs the frame. If you act from calm confidence, people unconsciously align with that calm. If you remain unreactive, others start to feel your stillness as authority. Influence becomes gravitational. It doesn't chase, it attracts. Yet, this level of control demands one thing above all: self-mastery. Sun Tzu wrote that the wise warrior wins first, then fights. Meaning, they win internally by mastering ego, emotion, and fear before the external conflict ever begins. The undisciplined mind seeks dominance over others. The disciplined mind seeks dominance over itself. Only when you rule your reactions can you rule your environment. The strategist learns that anger, pride, and impulse are gifts, signals of unrefined energy. But they are also traps. Each reaction is a chain. Every uncontrolled emotion is a leash that someone else can pull. You can't hide emotion completely, but you can transform it. Convert anger into clarity, pride into poise, fear into anticipation. When energy changes form, it becomes strength. Sun Tzu's brilliance lay in simplicity. Know yourself and you will win all battles. Most people think they know themselves, but what they really know are their preferences, the things they like or dislike. The strategist goes deeper. He studies his weaknesses like an enemy general studies terrain. He recognizes where his patience ends, where his fear begins, where his attachment hides. He doesn't deny these flaws, He integrates them. Because awareness itself is a weapon. The strategist doesn't chase perfection. He chases awareness. When you are aware, you can't be manipulated. You may still be challenged, but you won't be deceived. Sun Tzu also warned against predictability. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. To live by that principle in modern life is to cultivate mystery without deception. You don't hide who you are, you simply reveal yourself selectively. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to control. The less predictable, the more power your silence carries. The modern mind, addicted to sharing everything, opinions, routines, emotions, betrays itself constantly. Every post, every reaction, every rant online reveals strategy leaks. Insecurities, triggers, blind spots. The invisible strategist knows when to speak and when to vanish. He never fights on the enemy's chosen field. He waits, designs, and moves when the advantage is absolute. The key isn't secrecy for secrecy's sake. It's focus. Noise is the death of strategy. When you broadcast your every thought, you surrender your psychological leverage. The wise reveal only what strengthens their narrative. The rest remains in shadow. This is not deceit. It's discretion. Sun Tzu's generals didn't announce their moves because clarity destroys momentum. In life, your power is preserved by restraint. The more others try to read you and fail, the more they assume you know more than you do. Assumption is control. But even as you master silence, another danger emerges. Detachment can turn into isolation. When you see through people's illusions, it's tempting to withdraw, to view others as predictable machines driven by emotion. But that's not mastery. That's arrogance disguised as clarity. The true strategist doesn't despise human weakness. He understands it, because he too possesses it. His strength lies in empathy sharpened by awareness. To understand someone's fear is to hold their key. To see someone's pride without judging it allows you to steer it gently. Influence requires connection, not contempt. Sun Tzu wrote, "Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley." In psychological warfare, this translates into leadership through understanding. The invisible leader doesn't coerce. He harmonizes. He turns loyalty into instinct. People follow willingly because they feel seen. They mistake his calm for care, his strategy for safety, and in a way they are right. The strategist provides structure, and humans crave structure more than freedom. Freedom, after all, is terrifying. It requires responsibility. That's why most people unconsciously seek to be led. By systems, by opinions, by stronger personalities. The strategist knows this truth but never abuses it. He guides, but he never enslaves. Because once you seek total control, you become a slave to control itself. That's the paradox at the heart of Sun Tzu's hidden philosophy. The ultimate strategist seeks no domination. He influences without attachment, directs without dependence, and wins without enemies. His mind is clear, his motives precise, his ego dissolved into purpose. True power is invisible because it doesn't need validation. It doesn't shout, simply shapes. Like wind, it leaves no fingerprints but moves everything in its path. In the ancient texts, Sun Tzu described the perfect general as formless. To be formless is to adapt without resistance, to be still amid storms, to know when to advance, when to disappear, and when to turn loss into leverage. Modern life offers the same terrain. Only now, the weapons are words, images, and attention. And attention is the new battleground. Every platform, every conversation, every argument is a silent struggle for mental real estate. Those who control attention control perception. Those who control perception control behavior. And those who control behavior control the world. The strategist doesn't fight for attention. He designs it. He knows when to withdraw, when to flood, when to let mystery ferment in silence until curiosity does his work for him. The less people understand you, the more they project onto you. Those projections become energy, and energy becomes leverage. But mastery is never about endless games of manipulation. It's about transcending them. You outgrow the need to win. You realize the greatest form of power is self-direction, to move unaffected by the currents of others' approval or resistance. When you stop needing to win, you win everything that matters. Sun Tzu wrote, "Move swift as the wind and closely formed as the forest. Attack like fire and be still as the mountain." These are not just instructions for battle. They're metaphors for states of mind. The strategist flows between them, fluid when necessary, grounded when needed, invisible when observed, decisive when opportunity appears. The world moves fast, but the strategist moves intentionally. He's not distracted by noise or trends or panic. He studies them, predicts their path, and positions himself to gain from their movement. To others, he looks lucky. To himself, he knows it's just timing. Timing is everything. Most people act too soon or too late. The strategist waits for the perfect intersection between readiness and opportunity. The untrained act from excitement. The trained act from inevitability. In every situation, business, love, conflict, there's a perfect moment where action aligns with maximum impact. Miss it and effort turns into struggle. Hit it and even the smallest gesture reshapes the entire game. Sun Tzu called this winning effortlessly. The mountain doesn't rush to stand tall. It simply is. The strategist doesn't rush to prove intelligence. He lets results speak silently across time. And yet, behind all of this precision, one truth remains. The hardest person to outsmart is yourself. Your own illusions about control, certainty, superiority are the final barriers. When you dismantle them, the need to manipulate others fades. You start playing a higher game, not of domination, but of design. You move not to conquer, but to create. In the end, the only opponent left is chaos, and even that becomes an ally, because the strategist learns to see beauty in uncertainty. Chaos is simply unorganized potential. If you stay calm long enough, it reveals its structure. This is where Sun Tzu's hidden teachings lead, not to war, but to awareness, to the understanding that every battle begins and ends within. The world mirrors the state of your mind. If you master your inner conflict, the outer world obeys quietly. So, how do you outsmart anyone without them knowing? You stop trying to outsmart. You begin to understand. You study before you speak. You listen before you act. You see the game while refusing to become its pawn. You remain still as others reveal themselves. And as they reveal themselves, they reveal the path. You win not by force, but by foresight. Not by pride, but by perception. You make yourself invisible, not by hiding, but by becoming untouchable. Not through fear, but through understanding. In the end, Sun Tzu's greatest lesson is not about victory at all. It's about freedom. Freedom from reaction. Freedom from insecurity. Freedom from the endless noise of those who must prove themselves. The invisible strategist is free because he plays by different laws. The laws of timing, silence, and internal power. So remember, every time you feel the need to prove, pause. Every time you feel provoked, observe. Every time someone tries to control you, study their intent instead of resisting it. Because when you understand their psychology, you no longer play their game, you write the rules. That is the invisible triumph. You don't need applause. You don't need recognition. You only need precision. And that precision comes from clarity, born of discipline, born of silence. The world may never know how you win, but you will. And that quiet knowledge, that calm certainty is what makes you unstoppable. This is the mind of Sun Tzu, not a mind that fights, but a mind that sees. Not a mind that controls, but a mind that understands. Not a mind that seeks dominance, but one that masters harmony. That is how to outsmart anyone without them knowing, by becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to. Sparkles subscribe for more stories and philosophies inspired by the ancient masters of power, discipline, and transformation, and tell me in the comments, what lesson will you apply before you sleep tonight?